Hello there, chat. How are you guys doing on this very first December stream? Hopefully not the very last, because a lot of things have been happening very, very fast in the VTuber scene, on the Twitter scene, if you want to call it that, that is. And I believe a lot of these things are worthy of covering, especially what happened just now. And by just now, I mean not even a whole day ago, as a lot of people's beloved some ordinary gamers, Mutahar, made a very heartfelt divorce video from his best friend forever, Nux Taku. And the video was so good, chat. It was so amazing. It covered so many factoids from their relationship that Mutahar decided to private it because he got a little bit too much heat for it. And we're going to be exploring all of that, how it came to it as well, because there's a lot of backstory to this. And I do believe you guys need to know this. So, you know, you aren't all in the dark, and you have met all of the characters of this tragedy, I'd say. I call this a tragedy. It's almost poetic how it happened, because both individuals, both Mutahar and Nux Taku, are huge pearl clutchers when it comes to the stuff that they found to be reprehensible, and that is lolly content, or at least of what some of them think is lolly content, because I don't think Mutahar in particular has that figured out, despite being a 30-year-old with a full access to the internet and being on the internet at least since 2007. Yes, my cursory knowledge about him and some of his videos that I watched over the years tell me that he has at least been around for that long. So, you know, being an explorer of the dark side of the web, as he was, he'd kind of know these things, or at least, you know, would ask Nux Taku about it, but I guess that never came up in conversation. But you know, it is what it is, and something that we should really be talking about. But before I start with that, I'm gonna give you a little bit of background music here, because we can't be just all silent all the time. Be sure to tell me if it's too loud at any point in time. Today's stream is going to be a little bit more relaxed, because we're going to be watching all of that video. Yes, I did manage to grab it. I did manage to grab Mutahar's video about his divorce from Nux Taku. Well, we're going to be in store for a lot of a lot of brain-rotting takes, I'd say. But a little bit of backstory, like TLDR on their beef, because this has been going on for months now. You see, excuse me, Mutahar of Some Ordinary Gamers and Nux Taku of just being Nux Taku, they've been long time quote unquote friends. I'd rather call them cohorts. I call them acquaintances of convenience. They used to be on the same podcast. They used to interact with one another quite frequently. You'd call them friends by internet terms. Again, I'd call them partners in crime, cohorts, whichever. And at some point, that all soured. Well, why did it sour? Well, because Nux Taku has been engaged in content that Mutahar didn't like. And it all came to be as people started dragging everybody around as the whole Shadman controversy has been going on. And how is Shadman related to all of this? Well, it's all connected to Mr. Beast. It's like an intricate web of connections that you have to understand before we come to this video and what inspired it. So you see, Mr. Beast has had this associate called Chris. I don't remember his exact surname or anything. Also, thank you for the $5, Sentai. Didn't Mutahar say he watches cartel beheadings on TikTok for fun? He watches them out of quote-unquote morbid curiosity, but we'll get to that. Either way, where was I? Well, Mr. Beast had this associate called Chris, and it turned out that Chris has been up to no good with minors, talking to them in sexual ways, and he's also had a poster of some art by the very controversial artist known as Shadman. And as people have been dragging Mr. Beast and Ava Chris Tyson, thank you very much for that correction. As people have been dragging Mr. Beast along with Ava Chris Tyson through the mud, deservedly so, by the way, they decided to also involve Shadman into this because Ava Chris Tyson had a lolly poster in his humble abode. So, seeing this connection, people have gone after every single person that has been associated with Shadman over their years. And one of them was... sorry. I'm over a little bit of cold, so I'll be coughing from time to time. But yeah, one of those associates of Shadman turned out to be Nux Taku. And he had a few interactions with Shadman over the years, especially on social media. He wanted to collab with him at some point. Of course, as people started dragging Nux about this, he said that he was only joking about wanting to collaborate with Shadman. I don't know if Shadman is in jail or in rehab or dead. I don't really care. He's a little bit of a degenerate piece of shit, so I'm not really that much on the up-to-date lore on him, what he's doing right now. I do know what he has done in the past. He has become so controversial and so hated among the internet communities because he decided to draw Keemstar's daughter in kind of a provocative sexual way, if I remember correctly. And again, people have been giving him shit for that. Again, rightfully so. But going back to Nux Taku, Nux Taku's defense for wanting to collab with Shadman is that it was all an elaborate joke and it's not so serious, as he said. And because of that, he decided to, lay low on social media, because Nux's last social media post, at least to my knowledge, was in September of this year when he responded to someone. In July, he was defending himself from from all the allegations and his connection to Shadman. And after that, he just went and decided to do his React slop on YouTube as he usually does. Because again, you have to understand that again a lot of players in this story, and you have to know how we got to the point of this video. Nux Taku, if you don't know, he's a little bit of a hypocrite, similar to Mutahar. And why is he a hypocrite? Well, we'll get to that shortly after we watch Mutahar's video about all of this. This has been covered extensively by Revses Desu and by myself about 2 years ago, but I will give you a rundown of it when we come to it. But first, let's go watch that Mutahar video, because it's truly something. I only watched like the first 10 minutes of it because I like to have more of natural reactions to things that I watch on stream. And considering what the first like 2 or 4 minutes of it was, I think we're in for a really, really fun ride with all of this shit. So yeah, we'll get to that. So let me just get this video up, and we'll see where this goes. But yeah, it's really something that he decided to delete it, because he doesn't delete much of his stuff, but I guess the embarrassment was a little bit too much from this one. We'll have to explore that, investigate it, and see. The video that he made about his divorce from Nux, he's cutting off his annihilation of their friendship, is called Post Nux Clarity. Very quirky, very funny title, I have to add. But let's take a look.
Hello guys and gals, me Mutahar, and today we've got a pretty serious video to make. Throughout my career, you know, people make mistakes and there's accountability to be taken, and I am not shy to taking real accountability to actual mistakes. Now the thing about this is, obviously I can upload these kind of videos onto secondary platforms, but I really think for full effect I should always upload to the main platform and really talk to you guys in a full level-headed way. Now, I have a Reddit board known as Some Ordinary Gamers, and you can post whatever memes and things you want all day, every day. But one of the clips that I saw, one of the things shared, was resurfaced video of Oompaville, Some Ordinary Gamers, and Nux Taku watching Loli together on a Discord call. So when I see this kind of stuff, it blows me, and obviously it flashbangs anybody, and I want to definitely have a talk about it and really...
Chat, I have to go on a little bit of tangent here. This is my pet peeve, or maybe it's even proper criticism, rather, of a lot of the big commentary YouTubers out there. Those guys that have millions upon millions of subscribers. Like, you have your Charlie's, Most Critical, you have your Asmon Golds, and of course you have Mutahar of Some Ordinary Gamers. They usually, most of them started with gaming content and later transitioned into commentary. And as you guys know, the commentary community is such that they feel obligated to talk about anything that's popular on the internet. All the popular trends, all of these guys have to go and comment on it, even if they have next to no knowledge about it. And they always sound incredibly confident and incredibly erudite about the things that they talk about, despite most of the time having little to no even cursory knowledge about the subjects they're talking about. And as you will see in a few minutes from Mutahar's video, he's exactly that type of person. He's so used about, you know, just commenting on stuff with such clarity that he thinks he cannot be wrong about any of the things that he's saying. It's not just about his beliefs, it's not about his, you know, personal creeds or anything like that. He's just so uninformed, and he sounds so stupid saying it with so much confidence. It's just kind of baffling to me. And most commentary YouTubers are like this, and it really boggles my mind. But let's continue.
Explain to you exactly what this is, what it's about, give you my side of the perspective, and again, take accountability where accountability needs to be fucking taken. Now, I've had a pretty hardcore stance against things like lolly, and obviously I don't want to be contributing to watching
30-year-old man, by the way, has to make a whole video about taking accountability for watching cartoons, something that is not real. And he's so fucking serious about this.
That kind of content or normalizing it in any fashion. So in this situation, obviously I looked at some of these clips and I want to explain what's happening and completely condemn it too, because as somebody that is 1000% against this kind of stuff, I don't want to be, again, normalizing it in any capacity. Now, for people who don't know, Oompaville and Nux Taku were former members of the Some Ordinary podcast, which obviously ended 3 to 4 months ago. Now, I get to talk about that a little bit after I discuss all of this, because there's some lore about it that I can finally really discuss, and it should shed to light exactly what really happened with the podcast, because it's pretty independent of this. But to go back to it, Nux Taku is a...
Kyrian, thank you for the 5. What did you say here? Man, Muda looks so good in that glass house of his. He over the years he got worse in terms of appearance, at least. I imagine it's lack of sun, just not leaving his house. Who the fuck knows? He just kind of looks gaunt to me a little bit. Let's continue.
A former collaborator, a former friend of mine, and I mean really a former friend of mine, because some of the stuff that I've seen over here is disgusting enough that I really can't continue a friendship, and I really can't, like, again, excuse some of my behavior watching some of this content as well. So this video that was uploaded with, again, Nux Taku as Jeffrey Epstein and me as, I assume, Ghislaine Maxwell over here, Mutahar Nunt, right? So obviously in this clip, or in this video, there is a pretty big clip of me, Nux Taku, and Quite, and Caleb basically watching and reviewing hentai together. Now, while all three of us were present in this video, this is a section from me, right? Now, obviously, these videos, according to how this video is played, was uploaded on YouTube. Now, for full context, when it comes to recording stuff, this was 3 years ago, so I don't remember everything done onto it. I don't think anybody can remember something they did 3 years ago, especially when you make videos nearly every day. But in this collaboration, Nux doesn't really give any preparation material. We kind of just jump in and record stuff and then send it over to his editors or himself over Discord.
Does Muda think he's accountable, legally accountable for this sort of stuff? I don't know, he's Canadian, he has to disavow it because apparently lolicon content is illegal in Canada. I imagine that's his whole argument here, that's his whole reason for this. But other than that, I think he just wants to cater a little bit more to his audience, which, I don't know, would already be on his side on all of this stuff. I don't know. So, in essence, this video is pointless. He's just kind of preaching to the choir. But from the comments on this particular video that we're going to be reading later, you'll see that not everyone, and in fact, I would say quite a lot of comments weren't on his side regarding this whole video and his stances.
Discord. But in this situation, he showed us a channel known as Hentai Boy, right? Which, again, this is a video known as Hentai Thick Girl, very unknown, very small viewership, but as you can see right over here, right, this was all uploaded to YouTube.
And even when you look at the upload date for this, August 2020, around Nux's actual video, which would have been uploaded like January of, or the end of January of like 2021, the channel pretty much remained dormant over here, but it was pretty much an unknown channel that slipped under YouTube's moderation. I don't even think that channel exists anymore because with
It doesn't, I checked.
the amount of attention raised through Nux's initial video, it probably is completely removed and has actually been banned off of the platform.
And again, when I was working with Nux, a lot of the things we did talk about was being anti-loli in that situation. And Nux very much made it clear to me that he was anti this stuff as well too, and he still
You'll see that's not true later on, much later on, but do remember that fact, because that's not true, not at all.
maintains it to this day. But the kind of stuff that he showed us was anime ni summer.
Now, inside the
It's Ne Summer, as in Ne-san, like older sister. But, you know, being Mutahar, he probably doesn't watch anime, how would he know that? But, you know, having a very loyal friend in Nux Taku, he could have just asked. But then again, I really don't think either of them are ingrained in any of this culture. So how the fuck would they know? It's just, you know, ignorance on top of ignorance.
video, inside Nux's presentation, it kind of came off as like just a cursed little hentai, and the reality of it is I never really watched his collaboration, but if you take the name that Ni Summer has had and put it into my anime list, which I realistically should have done at the time, you can see the synopsis is Yuta Yamayuchi is a average high school student, right? So right there, I'm not going to play the whole semantics, oh, is this really loli game? Like, I don't even care if somebody is like 18 or on the cusp of like turning 19. At the end of the day, high school can very much involve a minor. And when you scroll down and go to the information, it is a OVA by a studio known as Rabbit Gate with no licensors, but the genre is in fact hentai. So again, ladies and gentlemen, if it's hentai and it involves high school people, it does in fact fall under the loli banner.
Told you that we're gonna be hearing a lot of golden thoughts from Mutahar here. It doesn't matter if, at least according to him, doesn't matter if the character has huge knockers. Like, I'd show you how the characters in Ne Summer actually look, but I really can't. because YouTube and stuff. But like that girl that's the protagonist of this series, or of this 2-part OVA series. She has like double D's bigger than that, and she's the older sister in this relationship, in this very sexually charged relationship. But again, according to Mutahar, all of this falls under the lolly umbrella, because why the fuck not? If you're gonna, tell bullshit to your audience, which they're gonna believe anyway, just fucking do it. Just spread misinformation.
And that is never okay in any capacity. Now, obviously, these videos existing on YouTube kind of, again, led us to some credence that maybe it wasn't, this like borderline illicit material. But again, these were also smaller YouTube channels, so chances are they probably weren't swept up under the YouTube moderation, which is something that also should have really been considered from my end. It should have been something that I never watched in the first place. I should have never, condoned. And honestly, it's pretty shitty to even contribute to somewhat normalizing this material. When there's a lot of large creators
Normalizing this material. My dear Indian fellow, this shit has been around. Shit has been normal in the anime community before you were born, before I was born, and I'm older than Mutahar by quite a bit. And this shit has been always a part of the anime community. Only more recently, in the last I'd say a rough estimate of 5, 6, 7 years. All of these pearl clutching Tumblr retards have come into the anime community and decided that this is a problem for them. They cannot stand any of this anymore. And you got these tourists walking around saying that we shouldn't be normalizing this, what the Japanese are doing. We're going to be enjoying their content to the best extent that we can. At the same time, we're going to be calling them pedophiles for all of the other stuff. Again, picking and choosing which things are good, which things are good, aren't good about Japanese culture and anime culture in general.
that work with a person, you tend to have this level of authority brought into it. And there is obviously a blind spot when this is somebody that you consider to be a friend at the time. And obviously when you work with that person and you see other large creators that you're also friends with work with that person, it just, again, swells up that blind spot that you make. But again, no real excuses over there. You shouldn't really have a blind spot in the first place. And again, it's not only me being a poor judge of character, but I should have absolutely have spotted this years ago.
Mutahar, I know you'll never watch this because I'm a small channel and shit like that, but I'll have to ask this. Would you be clutching your pearls as hard for a live-action series like Game of Thrones, which feature very similar content to a lot of the shit that you're disavowing now? Are these things also bad to the point where you have to cut off your friends? Like, say, if Nux Taku really enjoyed Game of Thrones, and he'd show you all of the incest scenes with underage characters in them, would you also cut him off at that point? Or is Game of Thrones the safe horny that you're gonna be accepting here? Is it the anime that's the problem here with the underage characters? Because I do wonder what he stands on shit like Game of Thrones is. Because that would be interesting to explore.
So for that, I absolutely own up to my fuck up here. But again, I don't think this is literally us gooning together watching Loli in this manner. This is a collaboration where it happens pretty much on the fly. And it's not, representative of the kind of shit that I consume on a daily basis.
Mind you, we're talking about a guy here. A guy here is talking that watches set verbatim that he watches cartel beheading videos out of curiosity and gloats about it to people. Goes on the dark web, or what he considers to be the dark web, constantly to watch things that would be even banned from shit like live leaks, if live leaks actually existed these days, but doesn't. And this is the thing that he draws the line at. Fucking animated cartoons. And he's so serious about this too. Like, where's the awareness? Where is it?
Or anything of that nature. Like, I would never willingly and honestly like watch something like this, you know, out of nowhere. This is just insane, and I wanted to really bring this up and bring.
It's just insane. My friends invited me to watch hentai with them, and I was sitting there laughing along with them. I made such a huge fucking mistake. I'm so fucking sorry, chat. Like, how could I have ever thought this was okay to do?
This into the context of what this clip was and why we had watched this kind of stuff. And any jokes that I make in these situations, really any jokes that anybody makes in collaborations like this, is usually because everyone's just playing into the high shock factor of something like this. Does that excuse any behavior? Absolutely not.
So morally superior to all of them. I was just acting like a shock jock. None of this was serious. I was afraid. I was taken aback inside. I wanted to scream out, "No, stop this video. It's wrong. We shouldn't be watching this." It's just, this is embarrassing.
And he showed us something very weird, and I remember getting somewhat upset about it and not liking it that much. It was me, him, and Quite. Fuck. I want to say it was something involving a dog too, but I
Exactly.
Probably 900-year-old cum vamp for far too long. That's my.
Calling Shinobu a cam vampire is very disrespectful. I disavow that. Disavow that statement.
These are the four horsemen of the apocalypse we're looking at right now. This is like some mythological.
They've been around since long before civilization.
Exactly. Wait, you showed porn in those videos?
This is the 5 rules of the Onami household.
Okay.
These are the little sisters, by the way.
Okay, this is a hentai?
First rule, hug your little sister every day.
Okay, it's fine, okay. It's just hug her for at least 10 seconds. There's nothing wrong with the hug. Yeah, it's fine.
No, the third rule isn't any weirder, so you don't have to worry.
Oh.
But in this situation, I just wanted to provide you the context of all of this, right? This wasn't us sitting together watching Loli, you know, just on like the off time. This is a collaboration for one of Nux's main channel videos. And at the time, really nobody thought about it. But we should have.
So a lot of these big creators, you can start to see like really big names. Obviously, Project Melody, Critical, MXR Plays. I don't know if that's actually Iron Mouse, but yeah, you can see plenty of creators that Nux has worked with. And for a while, there's been plenty of collaborations where like big creators jump on, they get shown like crazy shit, crazy hentai, or sometimes participate in like, you know, games, game shows, so to speak. And that's really the extent of it. Nux is a pretty big collaborator in that space. And realistically, I kind of just walked around expecting him on good faith when he said that, you know, he's pretty anti-loli and obviously wouldn't have shown us anything that would be very adjacent to it. And obviously, with a lot of these larger creators also collaborating with him, I'm sorry to say it really did blindside me. There was a bias, call it, you know, friendship bias, call it, you know, there was other creators working on it, but really it was something that I was putting up a blind spot to. And I'm not using that as an excuse. I really shouldn't have done that collaboration, and I really shouldn't have watched that content and if any way contributed to normalizing it. I 100% obviously condemn loli, and I 100% condemned my actions in that situation. But again, one of the reasons why I do really want to address this is I don't like obviously reading the facts that I am some level of a pedo or a defender of this or anything. I have made plenty of videos crapping on individuals and burning a bridge with creators who I don't necessarily agree with. If I have ever at any point normalized their actions, people like Mama Max, where I did stick up for, amongst plenty of other creators. But I think obviously if really bad information comes out and new information comes out, you have to publicly correct it. You have to publicly explain, you know, update.
It's funny to think about. Let's say blindsided by friendship. You're gonna let some things slide because someone is a friend of yours, and again, all of that stuff was like months or even years ago at this point. So what she considered to be pedophilic material is something that you and your friends engaged with, again, according to you. And you stayed silent about this for such a long fucking time. Do you think an apology for a thing like that would be like near enough for anybody at that point? It just shows your character that you're willing to sweep things under the rug as long as someone is your quote unquote friend or associate, as I was saying, cohort, fucking goons of his. Baffling way of thinking. Seriously.
To a situation. I could swipe this stuff under the rug, but I choose to upload it on the main channel because I think that's really where taking accountability is at.
This video is deleted. It's, well, not deleted, private. Maybe he'll want to return it at some point. He didn't delete it. So there goes that fucking accountability, I guess.
I don't want to pretend like I am just burying my head in the sand. This was a wrong thing for me to do, and 100% I own up to it.
How do people like this have fucking spouses? If they can't tell what's real and what isn't real, and what's an actual problem and what's not a problem. Jesus fucking Christ, man. Beowulf86, thank you for the 5. This clown thinks he's important enough to popularize hentai. Content that has been around for 40 years. What a narcissist. Again, I do think a lot of his statements come from like pure ignorance about the things that he's engaged with, I imagine. As I was saying at the beginning, a lot of these commentary YouTubers, they don't have a lot of knowledge about the things they're talking about. And you can tell that here, but at the same time, he's very confident in the shit that he's saying that is completely wrong. But, you know, again, they got used to being like this. The content they produce and how they produce it got them so used to talking in this way.
Completely. So one of the things that I don't agree with is a lot of the over-sexualization in the thumbnails, right? So there were actually collections of thumbnails collected in these videos where things were pretty NSFW, all right? Or at least they were highly sexualized. But even that isn't as bad as one of the examples that I want to show you. Now, if you're looking at this video called Cursed Speedrun Fails, this was uploaded 3 years ago, and if you're looking at the thumbnail, it is XQC screaming at some video game with Nux's VTuber in the corner and going, what the fuck? Now, the thing is, the problem with this situation is the thumbnail that came before is absolutely filthy. So this one video where, again, the thumbnail is different, XQC is still very much in the corner. You can see a speedrunning timer. You can see Nux's character, his avatar, right here on the right side. But the middle that I'm blurring especially involves a dog bending over and inserting themselves into what appears to be a female character. So obviously,
we're gonna have a fun little diatribe about this changing of thumbnails, because there's a story regarding that too. It's a funny one. It dates back to 2 years ago.
This has nothing to do with the actual content. It's just a hypersexualized thumbnail.
Now, even with a thumbnail like that, it had nothing to do with anything hypersexualized, so I don't know why we had to insert zoophilia into like a speedrunning thumbnail. To me, it makes no sense.
It makes no sense to you, a YouTuber with millions of subscribers. Why would he put such a provocative thing as for a thumbnail, Mutahar? Why do you think YouTubers do that? It's a mystery to me. Why would you make a controversial thumbnail something that's attention-grabbing? Something that would direct people's attention to a video? I do wonder why YouTubers do it. It's a huge mystery.
But obviously, you know, looking through a larger collection of these thumbnails that were uploaded on numerous other channels covering this topic, yeah, it really is a pattern that back in the day, and Nux even touched upon this, that, you know, years ago, that this was something they did, whether it be for some form of clickbait or, you know, capture, or something that was normalized in the anime community. Any form of zoophilia, any form of, you know, hentai like this, or hypersexualization, or, you know, if you even insert like loli into this thumbnail, for instance, that's not okay. And obviously these are things that, you know, if you slightly change in the background, it's going to rub people the wrong way. You should really just be upfront and honest. And honestly, you should never even have done this in the first place. But yeah, this is one of those things that kind of like obviously was brought up, and it's one thing that I wanted to address as one of the principal reasons as to why this isn't okay. But I think a even bigger reason is one of these situations regarding another creator known as Bungo Taiga, which is a character, a creator that also had their entire YouTube channel pretty much terminated for nudity and sexual content policy. Now, to preface, also going in forward into this video, I don't know much more about Bungo Taiga other than what
Then you shouldn't talk about him if you don't know shit.
I'm about to read here for you, and again, just covering this one specific case. So I don't know what level of degeneracy, if anything, this person also falls into, so don't consider anything that I'm saying as a co-signing of this individual. I'm looking at a very hyper-specific event in this point in time. I just want to make that readily apparent. So to go over a bit of their controversy, in summer 2022, Taiga was accused of grooming. They made a twit longer where they reviewed the allegations and called them false. Later, an updated Google Doc was created that had evidence that not only were these allegations fake, they were deliberately created by ex-moderators and spread by a stalker of Taiga. So again, this is the Google Doc in question. Now again, I have no idea about this controversy whatsoever.
Then why the fuck are you bringing it up?
I'm only bringing this up because it was actually a big point of contention for someone like Nux. So even the actual person, Taiga Holic, actually ended up making like a 57-minute like piece where they kind of went over this and really were just grilling Nux for not really correcting the record. The record had to be corrected because in this situation, Nux literally made a video where he was showcasing controversies to a popular creator known as Penguin Zero. Now inside this, he actually goes out and says, "Hey all, I edited out the Bungo Taiga segment of this video. Although I state in the video itself a disclaimer that I do not know the full story and do not take what I say too seriously, I would rather not be a cause for possible misinformation."
This whole thing with Nux and Taiga is another rabbit hole that would take like 2 hours to explain. But in short, Nux insinuated as he was talking to Moist Critical that Bungo Taiga is a pedophile, and for many years he had not issued any correction to that. When a document came out about all of the allegations against Taiga, he later made some sort of, I believe, video about this, some sort of statement that nobody ever really saw, and it came far too late to actually fix or change anything. So yeah, that's the story with the two of them.
Information floating around now that new information was revealed. I'm still in the dark on a lot of details as I heard both sides of this event and don't know what to think. I'm sorry if I caused any undue harm. So I personally apologize to Taiga for their side, and they discussed my plan going forward. I hope the truth comes out, be it guilty or innocent, but I intend to set the record straight in the future when I understand the situation. So it's wild as fuck that we're covering pretty serious stories like this, but we don't have the entire story, or at least enough to make a video. That is basically how you bring on actual misinformation. So in this
Just like the shit about the lolly stuff that you started off with. Now you're concerned about misinformation, Muna?
story, Taiga did not appear to be too happy with this entire situation. They actually talked about it again.
Mind you, he's only bringing all of this up, not for the reasons to show some kind of contentious point. He's showing this up to pile on a nail into the coffin of Nux Taku here. This is why he's doing it. He's fucking trying to kill Nux Taku completely with all of these things piled on.
In that bot I brought up, Nux Taku can't stop lying.
You think I deplatformed him? People are blaming me for deplatforming him? He got banned for sexual content. But you're blaming me for deplatforming him? Destroyed his life? You think I destroyed his life when the video where I talked about apologizing for it has more views than the video where I originally mentioned it, like, as a throwaway sentence? Over false allegations? I didn't make any allegations. I said what someone else said, and I was wrong to do that. But, like, there are so many comments like this everywhere.
I don't particularly think that was ever a great response in the situation. Like, yes, just because you regurgitated what somebody else said, when it comes to something this...
Yes, they're both pieces of shit. That's not very hard to see.
serious, it probably should have been something that you were 100% on the money for. It's a pretty massive fuck up, and it's not a fuck up that you can just, put in a pinned comment or a, side channel that people, may or may not see. At the end of the day, when it involves something incredibly serious like, incredibly serious like sexual assault stuff, you should 100%.
Sorry, gonna pause for a moment. Rogue, thank you for the I just got here. Didn't Muda admit he liked watching in real violent guru crap? Nux is a clown, but this cowardly dump everything backstabbing is foul. Yes, he does admit to watching cartel beheading videos and other vile shit as well. So, again, kind of hypocritical to, again, clutch his pearls about things that aren't real while he promotes watching that sort of shit. But yeah, let's get back to the video because it's long. It's long and annoying.
Correct the record and make a actual real. It doesn't have to be like you slapping yourself in the face in front of it. It just really has to be a sincere apology that, again, you post on a main channel. The reason I'm doing this video, for instance, on a main channel is because I really do want to set the record straight. I really don't have anything to hide, and to be honest with you, when it comes to a situation like this, it's best that I set the record straight with my community. I'm not ashamed of involving people that wouldn't know about it. I don't really want to hide things under a rug because I have nothing to hide. At the end of the day, that, to me, is more shady. I've called people out for really bad behavior, and I think this is probably some of the worst that I've seen, especially when it comes to reporting on something that you probably never should have in the first place, especially when it would have cost somebody, a lot of issues down the road, right?
Even the comment section over here isn't entirely happy about the situation, because obviously they say if you know how the internet works, then you'll know why that little clip can end a career of somebody.
This whole shit is such a... Do you guys know what Nux Taku did to this other guy that I would also consider a pedophile by my own way of thinking? But did you guys know what he did to that guy? And how it looks like on him when he did that to him? Do you guys know? He spread misinformation about Taiga. Jesus Christ, man.
You said it, people are calling other people's stuff, but it never gets to somewhere because they don't have to reach to. But if some idiot with almost 800k subs, it doesn't matter if 1 million people see it. At least 1/8 of them are going to clip it and repost it. Which is really true. If you make a serious fuck up like that, I think not only is removing the video a big problem, but you really got to go onto your main channel and address these situations. If you make a fuck up, especially one where you inadvertently end up slandering somebody, you got to cover for that. And the reason I also bring this situation up is I don't condone any situation where people are this mishandling with the truth, right? It's never good in my opinion, and I cannot ever work with somebody or, again, be friendly with somebody who has made a mistake like this. Because
again, I have to say this. When you're spreading misinformation, whether it's, you're doing this on purpose to be malicious for whatever reason, or you're just ignorant, all in all, it has the same effect. And what you did at the beginning of the video is tantamount to the same thing that Nux Taku did. Because, you're talking about fiction, something that isn't real. You're talking about tropes you have no idea about. You're essentially condemning the people that watch this as, pedophiles, because you do think this is pedophilic content. So, again, have some self-awareness when you talk about shit like that. This is just... It's just... I don't know, it hurts my brain how little awareness he has in this moment when he says shit like this.
Because ultimately, it's fine to make mistakes, but to really just let it fester for this long without actually making right on it, because, again, if you ignore something on the internet long enough, there's a good chance that it'll go away, right? If I ignored this whole situation with my fuck up, it would probably have gone away, but that would be very hypocritical of me to do, and that's not something I want to contribute to, at least on my time on the internet. I also feel that for this one person, having some exoneration on a channel, where at least if they weren't guilty of really heinous crimes, at least they get their word out, which at least happened over here. So now I want to move on to something related to our podcast. Now, at the time when we were looking at this whole situation, one of the things that conveniently also occurred along the time of the Some Ordinary podcast ending was the Shadman leaks coming out to the entire world. A lot of creators back in 2016 would contact and discuss things with Shadman, right? Now, Shadman is a pretty infamous creator that I have very much condemned. This is somebody that has drawn actual lolicon material of real individuals, real children, one of those children being Keemstar's kid, and has basically been an open degenerate in the community. Now, the thing is, a lot of creators ended up being friendly with the guy. A lot of people contacted them, and one of them...
You know what's disgusting? The most disgusting about the other Chris Tyson situation, at least to me? They have shown the guy actually, talking to minors in a very sexual way. But most people out there, they just focus on the Shadman thing. Did you guys know that he had a poster of characters on his fucking wall? Did you guys know that? And all of the fucking discussion for like a week was just about that. And the shit about talking to minors in such a way, that's all on the back burner. But Shadman, popular creator, have to talk about that guy. Have to talk about fucking drawings first of all, not the fucking grooming of minors. Let's talk about the fucking drawings. I love the priorities of fucking modern internet. Talk about the drawing first. Talk about the actual victims never. It's fucking fantastic.
Ended up being Nux Taku, who Nux had at the time said, hey, probably this guy, right? A bit too middle school. You know, when Shadman is saying a bit too middle school, want to collab? LMAO, no, but your heart's in the right place. Understandable, have a nice day. Now, when I asked Nux about this, obviously in a call, he pretty much told me that this was going to be an interview where he was going to troll and, grill Shadman. Now, obviously it didn't happen, so I can't confirm or deny if this was actually going to be the truth. But the thing about it is obviously as this was happening, this was...
Knowing Nux Taku would fully be on board with interviewing Shadman. You have to understand that before Shadman's fall from grace, he was on everyone's fucking... he was like on everyone's fucking target list for collabs and shit like that. He was like Zone. Almost like Zone, the other popular hentai creator. Everyone wanted to get a piece of Shadman because holy shit, that style of his is so grungy. It's so edgy and it's so sexually laden. People loved Shadman for that kind of shit. Everyone wanted to suck his dick back in the day. But when he started to lose his marbles, that opinion has quickly turned into something completely fucking different. So, again, chasing after people that wanted to suck Shadman's dick, that's... you'd find a lot of people like that. That would be associated with Shadman. Not even on friendly terms, just like acquaintances, that sort of stuff.
On the consideration of the podcast ending. So I was on somebody's channel known as Chud Logic who actually talked about the situation. I actually ended up going onto his channel and saying something that I probably shouldn't have because this situation regarding the podcast was very fluid. And I'll explain that in a bit. But I want you to hear this clip so I can better explain it and also acknowledge a fuck up I made. That's never okay.
Okay.
Sorry, another super chat. Solon Delich, thank you for the 50 hours. It's one of those stories, and somehow the trash picked itself up and threw itself in the dumpster. Truly polar kind of stuff. Well, yeah, this whole video ended up in the dumpster, but in terms of both of these guys' careers, I don't think that's gonna have much of an impact. Unless Mutahar is so disgusted by his own actions that he's gonna leave the internet forever and cry in the corner. Nux Taku is still doing the same shit that he's been doing for many years. He's just doing React slop as he's been doing all of these fucking years. So I don't know much about Nux Taku's numbers these days. Are they higher? Are they lower? Are they the same as they have been? I don't know. I don't know about the status of both of these guys' careers. But if Mutahar keeps doing the shit that he's doing right now, he's gonna end his own career pretty soon.
Are you going to keep him off the podcast?
No, we would cancel the podcast. It's not happening. The podcast
Dude,
is done.
this is hard because obviously, you know, people want me to
Podcast
fucking...
is done. Yeah, podcast is done now.
Wait, what?
Yeah, the podcast is over. We are not filming the last episode. It's over.
Is that are you serious?
Yeah, we're not doing the podcast anymore. It's done.
Why?
We're supposed to film on Tuesday. Well, there's a couple reasons for it. A lot of that was obviously some of the Shad stuff too, because we were kind of sitting there. We're like, me and Caleb, we were just like, this is, I don't know, it's weird. The other thing was we just want to redo things, maybe like 2 months down the road or something. So this is a pretty big point and one that I can finally really discuss. Now, obviously, if you listen to that, it kind of sounds like I'm snaking him. I give him an answer where it says, you know, there's a lot of reasons, but a lot of it is the Shadman stuff, which at the time, as this was kind of breaking down, you know, everyone in the community was going, whoa, 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 you're connecting with this guy, you're talking to him. Yeah, that kind of was one thing that was brought up. But obviously, in a call that, you know, I guess I had with Nux personally, this was discussed as like a collaboration effort. There was another huge thing that I wasn't really privy to discuss at the time. Now, the podcast ended for, again, us not actually owning any of it. So to give you an idea about how it works, right, the company that I was with at the time, the management company, Nano Zebra, they managed my channel and specifically Oompaville's channel. Now, if you notice towards the tail end of the podcast, Oompaville really wasn't showing up for a lot of episodes. There was actually a point where it would be like 1 week out of the month he would actually make an appearance. And it wasn't because, you know, all of a sudden there was some falling out between us or anything. It was that there was really a behind-the-scenes issue with Nano Zebra and how some of the things on the podcast was done. I believe payment wasn't really necessarily brought towards Oompaville, and they had like another deal that wasn't really met well. Now, at the time, me, Oompaville, Isaiah, Tom, Brandon were out filming in Texas, and Wendigoon actually brings up, you know, how things are going over at Mana.gg, another talent agency. So me and Caleb kind of get like a little pitch out of it, and we basically want to work with this Mana group because they're going to do a lot more things in the future that would help us with ventures we want going into our channel into 2025 and beyond. So me and Caleb effectively just cut ties with Nano Zebra. We fill in our resignations, and we move on to Mana, and this happened around 3 to 4 months ago. So as this happened, the podcast was under management and, you know, again, I believe partial, if not near full ownership of Nano Zebra. So at the time it was like, hey, what do we do about this podcast, right? Like, do we fight for rights for it? And obviously not really, you don't need to. If you're the main talent, the 3 big people, you are the draw for the show. So it really became a situation where me and Caleb said, yeah, fuck it, we'll just make a new show and we'll move it to a new location, hopefully something IRL, obviously, where, you know, it kind of has more of a professional feel and one that we can obviously manage better. The podcast wasn't the perfect managed podcast ever. There was moments where guests would show up literally like last minute, and a lot of those guests actually did come because of Nux's massive collaborative efforts. Some of the guests I brought, some of the guests Caleb brought, but it was not something where we even had a docket for a lot of the shows, right? It was really just we showed up, we yapped. The yapping wasn't exactly structured, and there were some episodes you could probably look at and realize they were pretty fucking phoned in. So at the end of the day, the podcast ended pretty inconveniently timed with this whole Shadman stuff. Now, obviously, you know, we did, or at least I looked into the Nux stuff myself too, the Shadman stuff, because there wasn't really any collaboration, never really went anywhere. It didn't become the, you know, sole focus reason. But yeah, the actual reasons for why this podcast ended were a lot of boring business stuff. We just didn't own it. So it was a lot better for us to make a new podcast, make an entirely new name out of it, and me and Caleb can move that going forward. And obviously, somebody else can come on that is not Nux, but you understand.
If you're confused about Mutahar's lore and his associates, don't feel bad, because this is hardly relevant other than the stuff that money was an issue, as you can tell.
Now the real situation. Now, at the time, I couldn't really bring this up because when you're leaving a contract and you're leaving a company and you're going to a new company, you really don't want to disparage somebody, not because it's not the legal thing to do, but also it's just not something you want to do, right? It's just not really professional at all. You don't want to disparage another company. You don't want to like go out and, you know, make things look worse than they really are. It really was a pretty amicable breakup. We left, we moved to a new company, and underneath that new company, or really under our company, we're going to bring back this podcast with obviously, you know,
different branding and whatnot. So that's really the fucking boring answer that it took me months to really tell you. And it took me months because now I've completely severed ties with Nano Zebra, and I've been with Mana GG for, I want to say 3 months at this point, like officially signed on. So yeah, that's really the answer. Now, in the case of Chud Logic, who did in fact take the words that I had put out and had relayed them, he really felt that I kind of snaked him and gave him misinformation or outright lied to him. And the reality of it is, honestly, the situation was just so fluid at the time that we didn't even know that things like the last episode were going to be filmed, right? And ultimately, that last episode did end up getting filmed, so things kind of did end on a, regular note. But when it came to Chud, there's definitely an apology that I feel I should give there, right? Like, I could argue this and I could keep fighting it, but at the end of the day, I do feel that, obviously, if what I have said has led to some wronging for another person, then I am not above an apology. Look, I'm not too big to fail or too egotistical to realize when what I've done can have consequences for other people, and for that I do humbly apologize. And that's really where I want to kind of leave things at. So, sorry, Chud.
Now, one comment that I saw on Reddit that I want to address too, because obviously this is a pretty good reflection of somebody that is very properly critical of me, right? Somebody that is actually hitting me with hard questions. So one user, Nostra Clonoa, says, personally, if you're asking me, I think it's weird that you don't look into the background history of your friends and the people you're just perfectly fine platforming. Again, we kind of did a podcast together. Everyone was a sizable creator. I don't really think that it is specifically me platforming, right? This is just 3 larger creators at the time. You allowed Mama Max to run rampant for years. Again, I wasn't the only large creator that worked with Mama Max or collaborated.
And how is that relevant? This is about you. This is not about them. Stop trying to pass the buck. Stop trying to dilute the fucking blame among other people. Oh, they're just as guilty as me? Is that what you're trying to imply here? This post is about you, not about them. Keep it to yourself. What is Slimeball?
Or, at some point patted him on the back. The reality of it is there was plenty of creators. I was just one of the guys that came out and really absolutely threw him through the ringer, as I'm doing with Nux with this condemnation, and again, an explanation as to my side of the situation. The reality of it is I don't have to come out and make these videos, but I choose to because I believe being accountable is important. And I'd be a total hypocrite because I call other people out on crazy shit. And if I'm willing to completely sweep things under the rug and pretend like things don't exist or show you actual things, then I am a pretty big fucking hypocrite on my own. So you blindly believe the allegations against Magnetar, which I apologize for, especially. You blindly believe the Night Docs was a creep, and you blindly let a guy like Nux Taku openly discuss and show freak shit in his thumbnails. Again, I don't control another person and their YouTube account, so I don't know what I can do with their thumbnails. But again, it's something that I do condemn, especially when these thumbnails are slightly changed. Again, I don't think they should have ever been used in the first place, and I don't want to work with somebody that believed these thumbnails were a good choice in the first place. You actively don't look into the folks you trust, and you just blindly allow them to say whatever without having critical thought about a single bit of it. So again, I don't really watch a lot of content creators that I collaborate with, and nobody really does, okay? Like at the end of the day, when it came to Nux's channel, here I'm signed on with my actual YouTube account, and if it's one thing that you'll see, usually under videos there'll be like a red bar. I don't have a red bar under basically any of these videos. I think the only...
Also, this is a guy that's frequently seen around Keemstar. Keemstar is a piece of shit in his own right. You could even consider him one of the biggest pieces of shit out there when it comes to covering drama content and general commentary stuff. I mean, nowadays he's just exploiting 2 morbidly obese lolcows for money, but that's a whole different fucking story. But Mutahar is very much involved with Keemstar as well. So where's that Keemstar condemnation coming? Like when are you gonna throw Keemstar on the bus, Mutahar? Because when it comes to content creators online, I believe he's the guy that would be really deserving of that.
Video I have an actual red bar in this is probably... I showed YouTubers the most cultured clips, which I actually browsed through just for the sake of, again, this video. So yeah, Nux is somebody that I did a podcast with, but it's not that I watched any of this content beforehand, right? Again, this was somebody that was very popular in a community of people beyond just anime and VTubing, and it led some credibility. And again, the only reason I'm making this video now is to take accountability and to really, again, condemn the behavior that this person actually exhibited. Again,
Yes, instead of having principles, you're just gonna collab with every single, like, Tom, Dick, and Harry under the fucking sun. And then, you know, when it turns out, like, some of them are very obvious pieces of shit that you have seen for years, like Nux Taku, for example, then you're just gonna make another apology video. It's just gonna be apology videos after apology videos. I'm taking accountability for my terrible behavior. I didn't know. I thought it was okay because, you know, we were friends. We're associates. I don't look into shit. Like, excuses upon excuses. It's just so fucking disingenuous on everything.
and that's really the reality of it. Even if you look at other friends of mine like Oompaville, you can see literally I watch the content that I'm interested in, right? Like Mr. Beast's response, him saying he's retiring, Fuzi crash outs, a sad AI situation, Smart Schoolboy 9. These are things that I actually watch, right? Guys like Wendigoon,
Slop.
great friend, love Isaiah. But I think the only video out of his that I've watched is probably the disturbing and controversial video game Iceberg, and more specifically, Faith 3D. Isaiah is more a video gaming YouTuber for me, especially when he covers things like this. And this goes for a lot of my favorite YouTube friends, okay? I like Moist Critical, don't watch every single Charlie video out there. In fact, I don't really watch much of YouTubers unless it comes to really, really specific things like speedrunning or, I don't know, 4-hour-long video game retrospectives. And again, this isn't really a defense. I most definitely should have actually been vetting people. And that's why going into, again, the future of my channel, I definitely want to keep collaborations to a minimum. I can't keep making a mistake like this because, again, if you're going to make mistakes, you got to fucking learn from them. If you actively looked into Nux, you'd spot the weird pattern of shit that follows the man, especially with Mama Max. I don't know if it's a bias you have, but if you're going to be critical of others, which I am, expect people to be critical of you when you platform weirdos and don't actually vet them. And I totally understand that criticism, and it's not something I want to actually keep happening in the future, okay? So if you make a video complaining about the fact that you're being criticized here, I won't be surprised if you snip half of this post and then act like we're all stupid. Which I'm not. I literally will not do that, okay? If it's one thing that I don't do ever, all right, and you're a long-time watcher, I'm not going to fucking snip a post, okay? I'll respond to the whole thing. There's genuine criticisms of you that people are making in good faith because they like you and your content, exactly. And for those people, I'm making a video like this to really, again, address these situations. If you ignore that, that's on you. But it sure is weird that this is the second time now that you don't vet people and blindly vouch for them. Again, Mama Max, the example used before, it wasn't just me vouching for this guy. Everyone in the...
What is he getting to? He's having his own personal struggle session. He's taking people that are flinging shit on him and prostrating himself. He's genuflecting in front of them to show how sorry he is, that he's quote-unquote taking accountability and he's not gonna make mistakes like that again. I wasn't kidding when I was saying that this is his own fucking personal struggle session. He made it into a struggle session. No one else did. He did.
Community really did. Until, of course, shit hit the fan. People really started looking into this content. And even then, I was one of the large YouTubers that came out and really actually mentioned that, took accountability, in my personal opinion, and owned up to it. Really breaks the immersion you try to make of being a respectable, neutral party. When you actually have vouched for monsters 2 times in the last 3 to 4 years. Which again, I do 100% apologize for, and it's something that I have to do better. I have to get rid of a blind spot, I have to get rid of biases. But yeah, when it comes to things like this and people, you know, alleging stuff like watching Loli on the down low, it's not something that I ever do, it's not something that I ever want to do, and it's not something I condone. And for that, I do take accountability into not pushing back and stepping away from this situation. Your community can go harass everyone who doesn't like your opinion because whether you believe it or not, you've got a hive mind of people who support you blindly, which I shouldn't have, okay? You should be 100% critical of everyone. I'm not an infallible person. I'm somebody that makes mistakes, as I'm describing in this video. And I do not ever endorse anybody in my community going out to harass somebody. If you harass somebody, you're not in the Some Ordinary Gamers community in my books. But unless you actually grow from how much you blindly believe people, you'll continue to make the same mistakes every time, which I don't want to. And that's why, again, I'm making these videos, because I think taking accountability is very important. And obviously, I believe taking accountability on the main channel is very important too. Okay, that's just where it comes down.
Again, video deleted. All of this. How long is this shit? Like 38 minutes. 38 minutes of wasted effort.
Too. And again, if people wonder why posts get removed from the Reddit, nobody moderates this Reddit but the Reddit automod. And if you look very carefully, it says removed by Reddit, which, to be honest with you, Nostraclanoa, this wasn't me hiding anything. I'm just going to hit approve on that because this shit absolutely drives me insane. I think we've got to change the automod settings at some point.
Or just, you know, don't be on fucking Reddit. I'd recommend that. Don't get a Discord, don't get a Reddit.
Now, obviously, I want to address some other, like, power round criticism before we end this off. Lol, fuck Muda. Dude's been a hypocrite forever as well. Dude virtue signals over cartoons, but loves watching beheading videos. So I want to also address this statement as well. Now, on the podcast, I talked about a morbid curiosity that I have with, like, beheading videos, like cartoons.
Guys, I just have a morbid curiosity. Like, I'd like to see a guy get his head chopped off. And that's, you know, that's my thing. I like that very much. I just have to take a peek, a little peekaroo on that guy's head just flying off. Just morbid curiosity, guys.
Tell stuff on the internet. And I feel like I have to explain this a little bit more. My morbid curiosity comes from the fact that for a long time, for years at this point, I've been looking into the Mexican drug war. And if you ever followed like cartel social media, one of the weirdest things about their social media is you actually have like gang bosses, sicarios, like actual hitmen, like real hardened gangsters posting on Instagram, TikTok, posting on really any social media platform, their mansions, their extravagant lifestyles, they've got gold guns,
yes,
Ferraris. It's really crazy propaganda they use to really house people in. But if you look in Reddit boards like r/narco footage, a lot of these boards where they, you know, catalog the Mexican drug war, you'll find plenty of uses of social media where the cartel uploads straight up beheadings, violence, takedowns as forms of intimidation. So realistically, I don't enjoy or love watching this kind of stuff. If you ever watch my dark web videos, my dry heaving is insane, okay? Even if gore is not on the screen, I will throw up even thinking about these situations. So I don't watch these things for fun, but to give you a context about it, when I do come across this stuff in that specific context, it's more of me watching.
When I watch beheading videos, chat, I make sure to stare at the screen, lift my hand, wag my finger towards the screen, and shake my head from left to right to show you guys how much I disapprove the content that I watch out of morbid curiosity, so that you know that I do not approve of it.
Watching these things as part of my ongoing private investigation and research in morbid curiosity of a drug war happening where cowboys are raking in billions of dollars 2 hours south of the border from, like, what, Los Angeles? Like, literally right across the border of the United States from one of the richest countries in the world. You can have a nation where, again, billion-dollar gangs can effectively run entire portions of Mexico. It's an insane, wild scenario. You know, people talk about crazy, evil shit happening on the other side of the world. This is happening literally to the south of the border, and it's insane it's gone on this long. Now, obviously, I'm ending this video off on, you know, again, Nux Taku is somebody that I have considered a friend at one point, but honestly, with a lot of these new things that have sort of come and resurfaced and people have brought these things up to my attention, it's not something I feel comfortable.
Young age curiosity? Come on. He watched that like a few years ago. A guy in his late 20s is not youthful curiosity or any shit like that. But then again, I thought this dude was like close to his 40s, if not in his 40s, but that's just on physical appearance alone. And I was completely fucking wrong, and he's just barely 30. So yeah, it is what it is.
Really even like looking at, okay? I don't like lowly stuff, and honestly, in a lot of these clips where, again, Nux, with me involved in these sort of competitions or these sort of like collaborations, is not something I'm okay with. It's not something I like being attributed to, and it's something that I 100% condemn. So as far as there being a bridge between me and Nux Taku, it doesn't exist. And it won't ever exist. And honestly, looking at some of these clips again, and some of these thumbnails that have been changed around, and again, some of these other situations involving other VTubers that feel very wronged in these situations regarding Nux Taku, I don't feel comfortable ever associating with this person. And regardless of whatever past or friendship that I've had, whatever that led to a blind spot, I do 100% take accountability for my fuck-ups being part of some of these collaborations, competitions, these game shows, okay? You know, there's plenty of larger creators that have collaborated with Nux, and I'm not going to make a giant spiel and say everyone should be guilty by association. All I'm here for is saying that I am definitely in the wrong for even contributing or watching any of this kind of...
Rogue, thank you for the 2. Condemns lolly yet actively watches in real life violences. Yeah, that's what he does. Morbid curiosity. Said 3 times over.
Illegal content. Had I known it at the time, I would have stepped away immediately. But I really, honest to God, didn't. And whether people think that I'm playing dumb or I'm not being 100% truthful, you're never going to win over people that never want to side with you. But I just want to get my piece out there. I also want to end this video off by saying that to any of the creators that have made videos on me and covered this whole situation, regardless of whatever thumbnails have been brought up or titles or any of these situations, I want to apologize to people like Chud Logic in this situation, because I really do feel like I did wrong you, obviously, with my misspeaking, my misstatements. I shouldn't have even said anything in the first place, and if I've hurt you or your career in this entire process, then I humbly apologize with it, okay? I know that, you know, things probably wouldn't, you know, smooth over, but I think an apology is due, and I think you got to be man enough to apologize, you know, when you have to.
Internet content creators are such interesting psychological fucking cases. If I ever got into psychology in my youth, I would be an expert on all of these guys right now, because they will do everything to save face by any fucking means necessary. All of this is a smokescreen for having no fucking principles, just pretending. All the fucking time, it's all just a huge fucking game of pretend for all of these fucking guys. Just to make sure that someone likes them and keeps fucking watching them. It's all fucking career, no fucking principles ever. It's just fucking pretending you have them.
Now, when it comes to creators that have made videos on me being critical of me on this subject, I don't want to obviously come across as somebody that was sweeping it, you know, under the rug or pretending to ignore it the entire time. Look, if you make a video on me being critical about me, I am totally okay with that. I have obviously been critical of other people in the past. This is not something that is completely out of my wheelhouse. For the creators that have made videos on me calling me out for it, it is something that, again, I thank you for. Accountability is very important. Policing this community is very important. And when people make fuck-ups, you gotta at least be able to address those fuck-ups and own them. And I do definitely own my mistakes on, again, watching any of this lolicon with Nux Taku. I didn't know it at the time, but honestly, reviewing it and this footage and these clips, yeah, it shouldn't have been something that I was ever a part of in the first place. And I do 100% take full accountability for that, okay? Massive, massive fucking L on my part. But it's not something that I absolutely want to bring up as something that is malicious on my end, okay? There were no crazy gooning sessions in the background. At the end of the day, my relationship with Nux Taku is pretty much over, and it's not something I ever want to rekindle, especially after reviewing all the other things that have come out of this. At the end of the day, I make fuck-ups. Human beings, we all make fuck-ups. I think choosing how you acknowledge those fuck-ups, that goes a long way. And how I choose to acknowledge this fuck-up is basically, again, by completely being 100% transparent, honest with you, shedding light on things like the podcast shutting down. And ultimately, I want to move past this, leave this behind, and really just sort of end this on a note where at least I get my side of the story out. For the last couple months, this has been something where I feel like I've been taking a whole fuck ton of the pot shots, when really it's Nux that should absolutely be taking a lot of this, you know, shit full face on. You know, something that I haven't seen on his secondary channel, main channel, social media platforms is actually taking accountability for some of these pretty serious grievances. Look, at the end of the day, I don't think this is a simple cancellation. Lowly content is not something that I ever endorse, and it's something that I've been 100% against. And unfortunately, you know, having somebody who may have potentially shown me this stuff based on the clips that I've seen, which seems to be a pretty high likelihood, is not something that I should have ever done. Should have been completely 100% against it. Take accountability for it. But ultimately, yeah, I don't ever want to work with Nux going in forward. I think that bridge has long since been burned. And like I burned a bridge with Mama Max, with his situation, this is not a bridge I want to keep continuing. So I definitely want to take accountability for my stuff. But yeah, this is me, Mutahar, and I'm out.
Yes, you're out. As is that video. In case you're wondering what you're seeing on the screen in front of you, well, that's a piece of fiction that Mutahar once enjoyed talking about in great fucking length. It's a little book called Dropout by the Jinshi group Fan no Hitori, translated into English by the Dojin Moe.us group. And let's take a look at some of the tags that Mutahar enjoyed in that particular piece of hentai fiction. That video, I think, is still up. So, big breasts, anal, pretty normal. Schoolgirl uniform, and kind of suspect, with all that fucking pearl crushing, with all that fucking outrage about underage people fucking, you'd think, you know, high schoolers, middle schoolers, whatever, that would be kind of, you know, off the mark. But, you know, it is there. Stockings, pretty normal pieces of clothing. Let me read the super chat before I continue. Hold up. Where did it lose itself? I don't know where it is. Sorry. Oh, there it is. It scrolled in. Mildly OCD, thank you for the 10. I get the feeling that Nux would be fine if he nodded and stopped trying to cater to normies like Muda. How often if he's going to get backstabbed before the year says that it's not worth it? The thing is, Nux Taku backstabs people the same way that Mutahar did. Both of these guys are worth one another's time. They're both absolute pieces of hypocritical shit, and you'll see a little bit more of that as I go through the stream. But first, I want to fucking finish reading the tags. Show you what Mutahar is into. Okay, stockings, glasses, bondage. I'm not into that one. Rape, also very popular tag. I would also be very suspect of that Mutahar, but again, just didn't really mind. Tankobon, which is just a volume release. That's not a real like fetish tag. Nakadashi, which is coming inside. Ahegao, which is a facsimile face. It's not something I personally enjoy, but a lot of people do. Double penetrations. Sometimes it's done very well. Sex toys, not a fan. Dark skin, neutral on that. Mind break, also don't really care. Tentacles, sometimes. Nedorare, it's funny. It doesn't excite me, I have to say. It's just kind of there. It's usually like a plot device that is more funny than anything else. Impregnation, I do not like that. Schoolboy uniform, because when there's schoolgirls, they have to be schoolboys as well. So Mutahar, you're raising your eyebrows in disgust, in surprise in that thumbnail. I would be too, if I had your mindset. Collar sometimes works very well, I have to say. Let me read that another super chat. Sorry. Sentai, thank you for 5. Nux is a piece of trash that never takes accountability for anything he says or does, but this is the opposite of extreme, where it's totally performative. Yes, it is, and it doesn't take psychoanalysis to figure this out. Again, struggle session by his own authorship. Let me continue this. Color, again, can be pretty good. Story arc, I do like my porn with plot. Exhibitionism, not a fan. Garter belt, take it or leave it. Mind control, I do like when my fiction to be consensual for the most part. Drugs, do not like. Inflation, I am not of that persuasion. Piercing, don't like. Elf, S tier. Stomach deformation, monster, depends what monster. Monster girl also depends what monster girl. Bodysuit, slave, birth, fuck that. Cervix penetration, painful, I imagine, for females. Latex, chloroform, also a tool for rape. Do not like that. Snuff, hate that. Double vaginal, bizarre. Human pet, also bizarre. Blood, don't like that. Dog girl, depends on what dog girl. Parasite, no thank you. Cowgirl, can be pretty good. Vomit, no thank you. Public use, no thank you. Stuck in the wall, I never got stuck in the wall. I do not get that fetish, but a lot of people do like it. I don't know why, but they do. Pillory, centaur, no thank you. But again, for some of you that do not know what not what I'm into, what I actually work with. I professionally work with 2D pornography in a lot of capacity. And despite that, my tastes are very vanilla. But this guy, this Mutahar person of some ordinary gamers, he has more extreme taste than than I do. Fucking apparently, if this is his fucking favorite. But what the fuck do I know? I'm not as cultured as this guy is. But that was the video. But that's not the fucking end of it, Chad. This is just more. Let me get my music back up real quick, and then we can read some of the reactions to this video, because they're pretty golden by themselves. So let me bring that up real quick. But how do you enjoy Mutahar's taste in hentai? It's pretty extreme, don't you think? Especially the snuff. I mean, snuff is kind of par for the course, considering he's very morbidly curious about those beheading videos that he doesn't like so much, as he says. But it feels typical for him, and it feels in line with his character that he has shown so far. All of that stuff, I didn't know he's into horse dick. I didn't know he's into centaurs. I didn't know. Maybe him and Vosh would have something something in common when it comes to shit like that. They should collab. I don't know what political persuasion, I don't know what political leaning Mutahar is, but I imagine he's some kind of more left-leaning sort of personality, if not neutral. But maybe him and Vosh could have a nice collab. They could talk about goblins and hordes dick together. They would bond over it, certainly, if not the violent content that both of them are known to consume. Let me add some of these reactions here real quick, and then we can read them. I selected 16 different screenshots. The video was deleted like in a few hours, but I did manage to grab a few of the comments on his video. If I remember the ratio of likes to dislikes, I think it had 2.6k dislikes at the moment of deletion. Don't quote me on that one. I just remember seeing a number like that, something similar to it. It had a lot of likes still, but the comments, that's the things that really got me interested, and I kept looking through them until the video got privated. This video felt like a self-report or a cry for help by either Muda himself or his PR team. Reddit isn't real life. This is so fake, and as someone who has watched almost since the beginning, the Sonichu demon strikes another. In case some of you aren't familiar with the Sonichu medallion lore, Mutahar was a recipient of one, and I do believe he actually wore one as well. And disaster. But and several cases of bad luck has struck every single person that has worn the Sonichu medallion in any capacity, even touching it. Just being near it has caused great disaster and great distress to all the people. There's Nick Rekieda, who has been revealed to be a cokehead cuck, and I don't even know what else he is right now, other than a druggie that everyone's laughed at so far. There's Mutahar, of course. There's I think Ethan Ralph has also worn the fucking Sonichu medallion. Who else is there? Who else is popular and has worn the medallion? Yeah, Boulder Boy is Nick Rekieda. Pippa, I don't think Pippa has ever owned or worn the Sonichu medallion, but if she ever does, you can expect a quick downfall. Either way, what exactly did this accomplish? Says another commentator. 3:25 exactly. Like this hit piece train wreck of a video. You definitely didn't cook with this one. Dude literally called Ne Summer Lolly Hentai. Like, what? Are you turning into iDubbbz now? The only thing this video is good is the goddamn title, Chef's Kiss. LOL, I don't care. Brother, you're painting a big-ass target on you now for people to dig for all the dirt they can to find on you, because now everyone knows you take social media comments way, way too seriously, and people will begin to bother you even more after this. I understand if you don't want to talk to the guy anymore, but doing a 40-minute hit fucking piece to justify it to yourself is completely unhinged. Stick to your normal uploads for your own sake. Is this some sort of out-of-date April Fool's joke? Very good reference. Bro used to make videos surfing on the deep web and said that he watches gore videos for fun, but draws the line at drawings. That is really pathetic. Who cares? Make a community note next time. Mutahar is unstoppable, as he deletes the fucking video 2 hours later. The video has altered nothing, I believe, about how much this man acts behind closed doors. He was laughing and joking about the same shit he is now condemning. The only thing I know is now he's willing to sell out his friends to appease public opinion, which is also something that I was already pretty sure of. And yes, when he talks about his favorite hentai, he's all fucking gleeful and happy about it. But in this video, he stone-facedly says how bad it fucking is, and how he condemns it with the full power of his fucking principles that he claims to have. What a hypocritical snake, just throwing one of his friends. Yes, him and Nux were friends. You don't do a monthly podcast like for a year with people you don't gel with. Under the bus and doing a whole ass expose on him just to get yourself out of an easily avoidable shitstorm is actually pathetic, considering this isn't his full-time job. Why does Muta even care about this shit for morality points? He would absolutely grill, and has done it in the past, other people in the situation. He can just quit anytime and has said multiple times he can do. Why bother with a pointless 38-minute apology tour? Oh right, shift blame because he isn't a grown man who can make a decision what to and not to partake of. Right? Right? I'm sure Nux will have a perfect healthy reaction and won't dig up an old and up-to-date recipes on all the other shady shit Muta has been a part of. Wonder if he'll jack Oompa down with them first. Can someone explain me why the comment section is infested with lolicon defenders? But by the way, this is Reddit now. I'll move to Reddit too. In case you didn't notice, some of them aren't YouTube posts anymore. A lot of them are Reddit. Even the fucking Reddit is not on his side for the most part. That's the funny thing. There were a lot of posts that were congratulating him about, you know, quote unquote taking accountability, but there were so many posts like this as well. Can someone explain why the comment section is infested with lolicon defenders? I'm gonna go ahead and assume a good chunk of them are Trump supporters, who aren't aware the party they support had been banning porn sites. I'll tell you a little bit of a secret here, chat. Both leftoids and rightoids are against pornography, despite what the leftoids tell you about, you know, sex work and how important sex work is for everybody, and how much they support it. Both of these motherfuckers, both sides, want to ban porn wholesale if they ever got to these extremes. If they ever bothered to go after it. You have to believe me on that. People that produce 2D porn are on their own all the fucking time. They have to stick together in order to get through those fucking waves. Xenogears, thank you for the 10. Super to support my favorite VTuber autism archivist and to shield DQ3 HD 2D. By the way, do you have a copy of Question Line stream? I do believe I have it somewhere. It might be on my mega upload. I will check it after this stream to make sure. I do think it's still out there, because I wouldn't let a thing like that go, especially after what happened to it. But that's another story, and chat isn't interested in that right now. More. TLDR on video. I've been told by half of the internet this is lolly. I can't believe this guy that puts lol in his thumbnails would do that. I'm burning this bridge. LOL. Watch him not burn that bridge. The guy is incredibly disingenuous and rarely means what he says. These commentary channels could avoid all this drama by just creating shit. Funny, silly skits, art / drawings, music, cooking, crafts, whatever. They want to do commentary in podcasts about gossip and politics, then get all the surprise when the shit hits the fan and finds themselves in drama. It's all just so old, and it's annoying that this is what's basically overtaking you, the one kids pay attention to on YouTube. I remember the days when Fred was what was considered the most annoying person on the side, and Ryan Higa was big. That's very OG stuff. That's very OG, especially Fred. God damn, that takes me back. Instead they become leafy clones like August the Duck and bully anyone for doing skits. Skits in 2024 YouTube? Not on my watch. Well, if you want skits that badly, go to Nostalgia Critic. Most of his shit is always skits. But yeah, that's the commentary that I got from Reddit and from the YouTube video before it got deleted. There were shitloads of comments on the YouTube video, like I think 3,600 something. Of course, didn't screenshot the vast majority of them, but there were a lot of people disagreeing with this fucking video. But again, Mutahar is not the only person that we're talking about today. Another one is Nux Taku. But before I get to him, I'm gonna take a short break. I'm gonna get myself a drink. You guys can go get that too, like take a bio break, whatever, and then we'll come back and then we'll continue with Nux Taku. There's a lot less to talk about Nux Taku, but it shows you guys that he's almost the exact kind of same person that Mutahar is. So you guys enjoy your break. I'll be right back.
And today, we've got a pretty serious video to make. Throughout my career, you know, people make mistakes.
Sorry about that, but I'm back. And we're gonna get to Nux Taku. We're not gonna watch Mutahar again. Because that would fucking boil my fucking brains out. So, as I was saying, Nux Taku has had his own set of controversies over the years, and I don't want to go through all of them. I covered a significant amount of them in a lot of my previous streams. I never talked about him in length up until today. And even today, I'm just gonna be focusing on the hypocrisy of it all, because, again, similar to Mutahar, Nux Taku is a person that clashed his pearls about Lolly quite a bit, called Taiga a pedophile, not because of the Lolly or Shota stuff, but because of the allegations that were made against him. And later on, was very adamant about saying that he retracted all of it, but again, too late. Far too late for that to have changed fucking anything. No matter what he says about how many views that shit had, he claims, compared to his video with Critical. But yeah, right now I'll show you what type of controversy he was involved with exactly 2 years ago, that myself and Rev have also covered at that time. So let me get one particular clip up, and you'll see what I mean. Yeah, reduce the volume here.
Take my word for it that there are multiple images of lewd lolly VTubers in his likes from very recently as well.
This is a part of the video from Rev's stream 2 years ago, December 17th, 2022, as you see here. Talking about the thumbnails that Nux has used in his videos. Mutahar also mentioned them in that long video that we watched a few minutes ago, but I'll give you the rundown of this shit as Rev talks about it. This deals with a certain set of comments that Nux has made about lolly content, which is gonna come up very soon here.
So take that from me.
His whole video is trying to frame me as a hypocrite because on the one hand, I say that it's sus. Lolly is sus. And then on the other hand, I'm friends with Chibidoki. And it's like, your likes are public, bro. You literally liked a tweet from Chibidoki and she's a lolly. Dude, there are 3 levels here, okay? There's lollies, which I have absolutely nothing against. I don't think anyone has anything against lollies, okay? Like Chibidoki or Megumin from Konosuba or Gura. Nothing has anything against lollies. It's lolly that's the gray zone, okay? So it's like me saying that lolly is sus, and it's like, really, bro? You're gonna say that when you're friends with Chibidoki? It's like, what, dude? Do you even know what you're saying? The whole video is framed that way. And it's like, what? And then there's the third stage, which is actual pedophiles. Lolly porn is an actual pedophilia, obviously, but it's a little weird. I'm not personally comfortable with it. And that's why my favorite thing is, okay, dude, a little tangent, little red.
He says that he's not comfortable with it. Well, there's that pictorial evidence that I have that says a completely different story about it. Let me get that up, and we'll just see. What is the sus, gray zone, uncomfortable thing that Nux Taku is so against, and where is it? Well, it's right here. It has been covered by me 2 years ago. Again, these thumbnails are YouTube safe, at least, so I can show them on the stream somehow, but I can. That's Kodakon Poke Kid double blowjob. Really takes the cake. These are all Nux's fucking thumbnails. As he says that he's very he's very not okay with lolly content. There's There's Gura showing off her tummy. There's a cropped image, another cropped image of Gura showing her ass. There's the two Poke Kids with a censored peener with a Starbucks cup. Poke Kids, by the way, not even Lolicon, it's Kodokon. It's a much different genre, but still related to Lolicon. And another Gura image on the right side, which I believe might be Cinesian. That might be Cinesian or JDAF, I think. It's either of these two, I think. And if you know what that image is, what kind of hentai Cinesian or JDAF draw, you would be seeing that Gura having being very well endowed, having huge fucking testicles, huge testicles and a huge bennies, as the kids say nowadays. But yeah, this is Nux, who thinks that Loli is sus, and these are all of his fucking thumbnails. And here's my commentary about it from 2 years ago. I don't believe you stumbled on these images by accident. For someone that is apparently uncomfortable with lolly porn, you sure find very good quality lolly porn. I would even say it's almost impossible to stumble upon the PokeKid image without specific search terms. And I do believe that is true. That particular PokeKid image is not accessible unless you follow specific artists. Well, not accessible, not easily find, I would have to say. Unless you look up specific tags on like a Boru or any kind of site of that nature, or you just follow these particular fucking artists. If you want sources, I think I gave the source to that like 2 years ago, but there's more. After being called out on this, he started changing it, and people started noticing it live. Rev has pointed it out. I have pointed it out. A user by the name of Megaman Manchild 84. This user now doesn't exist anymore, but he said that Nux has been changing the thumbnails in real time, and you can see here. Here's the former thumbnail here. Created the weirdest VTuber game show. And then the one on the left created the weirdest VTuber game show with a completely different Gura now. And he's just changing it live as as people start pointing it out. Not very smart or subtle. There's that Gura showing her ass video changed to this. to a thumbnail with Coco. And more. I tell him, find those Poke Kids sucking dick next, Lux. It's almost it's the most telling of them all. Seeing this happen live. As I also chimed in at this point and just went directly to his fucking YouTube channel to see these images being changed live. Took him a bit of time to find those Pocket Kids sucking dick and change it. 2 years ago, he just left it as is when he was first called out for it. He probably thought that changing all the others was good enough for the time being. And here's him again, change it to something else on his Nuxtaku channel. This is how it used to look like. And then there's also the Mutahar stuff, in case you're wondering what Mutahar said after he deleted his video. Remove the Nux video. While I can't be a friend to Nux with some of the questionable things in that have surfaced, I still apologize for the collaborations I took place in, and don't aim to repeat those same mistakes. I'm sorry. And then Sonic commented below that, it's okay, Muda, now make more Linux video, thank you. I wouldn't know that Sonic the Hedgehog was so interested in Linux. I guess Linux just goes fast. And as I was saying, the Nux stuff is gonna be pretty brief. I could go about and tell you how he was involved in the V-shoujo drama from a few years ago, where he discovered some stuff. But I would say that he's more of a victim in that one than anything else. But nowadays, like Nux or Nux Taku, whatever you want to call him, he gets kind of eaten alive by some of the people that he has catered to, as you've seen, like Mutahar being one of them. At some point in time, he also did some kind of comment about the cartoon show that a lot of stupid Tumblrite adjacent children were watching, and they got very upset that Nuxtaku made a particular comment about it, and they decided to shit on him up for wholesale as well. And that's just his career now, making slop React content and getting shat on. It's kind of poetic, to be honest with you. I mean, getting like 60, 70k per video, I guess, can still constitute some kind of livelihood, depending on if those videos don't get age restricted or anything like that. Not even age restricted, like limited ads on them. Considering what kind of stuff Nux Taku deals with, I can imagine a lot of his shit is just gonna be all yellow, and that reduces his earning prospects quite a bit. So who the fuck knows if he's actually making any money? I don't follow his streams, so I don't know if he makes money on that one. But I would say that his career is in the decline, because how much of the same shit that can you make for years, and you know, how much can that content still remain relevant all these years? And if you get involved in controversies left and right, your viewership is surely gonna dip at some point, unless you have millions upon millions of subscribers and very, very dedicated viewers, which I don't think Nux Taku actually has. So that's his fucking story, and that's Mutahar's story. And you may be wondering, did Nux actually respond to any of this? Well, not really. I do not think so. And I don't know about one specific thing about his about the status of his current Twitter. But there's one thing that I'm not sure about, and that is, let me show you to you real quick. I need to screenshot this because I haven't beforehand. I'm talking specifically about this thing. I think he had this profile picture for a while, like him as Mutahar. I don't know if this is a recent thing or not, but if it's a recent thing, that might be his answer to that particular video that Mutahar made. But in all honesty, I think he had this profile picture for a while. But again, I am not sure. I don't believe he has said anything since that video dropped and got privated. But yeah, that's their beef. A completely pointless things and clutching pearls so hard they become parts of their respective bodies. All of this shit over fucking cartoon characters. Shit that isn't real. 40 fucking minute video about fucking putting Nux Taku in his place because cartoon's bad. Two fucking grown adults. Fucking YouTubers. Not a single fucking time. It must be fucking painful to be that type of YouTuber, that type of fucking content creator on the internet. You just do everything to avoid controversy, but by doing so, you just become part of a bigger controversy, and it just all piles up over time. And then you have to do apology videos in order not to lose viewership to fucking everybody that's willing to listen to you. Again, if you have a fan base that's dedicated, they won't fucking care. They will defend you no matter what you fucking do. You'd have to be some kind of sex predator, rapist, or a pedophile in order to get completely fucking shut down. But you know, I've seen a pattern over many years I've been on the internet. The people that moralize the most, the people that virtue signal the most, they usually have the biggest amount of skeletons in their closet. And that has become a pattern that has been almost always true. Anyone that does so much to shit on any kind of problematic fictional content is gonna end up on the chopping block sooner or fucking later. Like, it's like a law of the universe at this fucking point, I would even have to say. So, there's your fucking story of two hypocrites. One brown, one Aryan. Because Nux Taku is this lanky blonde dude. He looks like Hitler's disciple. Like, what would the ideal Aryan specimen be for Hitler? Just a little bit more lanky than the Ubermensch that you're thinking about. And what happened to Mutahar on Twitter? I think some of you actually deserve an explanation what happened to the guy. Well, for someone that goes into that type of content, watching beheading videos and cartel execution videos on the dark web, well, he's a little bit of a pussy. If you haven't noticed by the video that you watched just now. He got very upset that people called him Indian because he's of Indian Hindu ethnicity. And he got a little bit upset about that, and he just kind of left Twitter. Well, let me show you what that looked like. I do believe you're owed that one at least. Mutahar left Twitter because of all the Indian bullying. I just removed Twitter because I've slowly just stopped using it. Nothing more than that. Fair enough. Most of Twitter is bots now. That made two of us. If you ever hate it when you have to go to sleep, or you're not gonna make your do shit happen that day, but you can't cause insomnia. But like, nah, bruh, fuck you. Hey, hello. Most of the feed became highly racist shit that grew really tiring to read. A lot of anti-Indian stuff. I wonder why that is. He probably just mad he has to tip at the restaurants. Was wondering why it smelled better here. What a pussy. And that's his story about living the internet. There's one thing that some people have noticed that Mutahar did after he left Twitter, quote-unquote, forever. He came back at some point, protected his Twitter account, I believe, and deleted some posts. I don't know which posts he deleted, but some people were speculating that someone has been threatening to sue him over some video that he made. I'm not quite sure about the details on that one, but some people have been speculating that he's been deleting some tweets from his account in order not to be liable. So that may be a thing. So just another cowardly act on his behalf. By him, I mean. Well, yeah, that's the shit show for today, chat. I hope you enjoyed this. It wasn't as annoying. I didn't have to read all too much, and I'm very thankful for that all the time. Don't know what the next stream is gonna be. There has been a lot of funny stuff happening that's not VTuber related. I might do another stream about a fan sub group being attacked for being lolicons. That's a funny thing. To give you an idea what it's about, there's a fan sub group called Doremi Fansubs, which has existed for 19 fucking years. They're very old. It's a very old fan subbing group, and there's some there's some person that decided to make a super funny call-out post about them on Twitter, and maybe we'll do a stream about that because it's been really fucking funny to read through all of this. I've never seen someone go so retroactively about a fan sub group just because it's run by lolicons. It's just fucking funny. Yeah, it's not like an OG fan sub group, because OG fan sub groups are the ones that subtitle Hong Kong bootlegs of anime. In case any of you are that fucking old, you'd know what Hong Kong fucking anime bootlegs are, and the yellow subtitles that were included with them. I do know. I've watched quite a few of them on my fucking VHS tapes. That's how I was exposed to anime for some of the very first time. It was pretty fucking fun back in the day. The subs varied in quality quite highly. Sometimes they were nonsensical, but you still kind of read them anyway because you didn't know Japanese and were just a kid. It was fun times for sure. But yeah, we might do something like that. Someone tells me that Mutahar went to Blue Sky. Wow. Blue Sky is a funny echo chamber with the most annoying people in it. I've seen some of the discussions they have, and I've seen what has been happening. The platform is apparently so overwhelmed by CP, they're getting reports like left and right. What a fucking shit show. And not only that, because the people that go there, they can't agree with other people on Twitter, and they sure as fuck can't agree with even like-minded people on the same platform they're on. So they keep reporting each other like en masse because someone had the wrong opinion that they didn't agree with. So it just goes back left and right, and nobody is safe ever. It's just a whole mess on its own. I do recall someone made a Blue Sky account impersonating me. Hold up, it was pretty funny too. I do believe like they wanted to account squat, like so I wouldn't get a Blue Sky account. It's not like I ever wanted one because I have everything I need on the shitty platform that is Twitter, currently X. I have all the drawings that I ever want to see on this platform. I do not need to go to some weird leftist echo chamber to enjoy myself. But I'm really trying hard to find this VTuber Cringe Blue Sky account because they left a funny fucking message on it. Where was it? There's one called V Cringe. I wonder if it's that one. No, that's something else. That's not that. I still remember there was an account like that. God damn it. Where is it? I don't want to keep you guys, but if you ever find that account, it's pretty funny because it's just some guy sitting on it and saying I do not deserve a platform on Blue Sky. What a huge loss for me, I guess. But yeah, thank you for coming out. Thank you for joining me on this first December stream. I don't know what the next one's gonna be. It all depends on how much free time I have. Girls Frontline 2 has officially come out, and I do want to play that in my free time, of which I do not have that much. I've seen what those fucking models can do, chat, and I'm thoroughly fucking impressed. If that fucking game doesn't introduce fertility rates, I don't know what fucking else will. It's like a lonely man's a lonely weeb's fucking wet dream, that fucking game. So go check out Girls Frontline 2. It's like XCOM with anime wives. Very good anime wives, I have to add. I wasn't that much into Girls Frontline 1. I didn't like the gameplay like at all. I did like a lot of the characters, especially what's the I forgot what the one was that was this weird cat girl that said Danya. I forgot what she was called. Some Girls Frontline fan in the chat helped me out. What the hell was she called? She had like a speech quirk with Danya. She looked like a cat girl. Like she had like blonde pigtails. I do fucking believe. Oh, Kuri, he copied your whole account. Something tells me he's one of the VTubers, considering the last post. I don't know, and I don't care. I just think it's funny that they did that. What platform is the game on? It is on Steam, but it's not out on Steam yet, and of course it's on mobile, and it's out on mobile now. It's gonna be out on Steam like on the 5th. Yeah, IDW. IDW is the one that I was talking about. She's like low tier as a character, but she has a funny speech quirk, and I really liked her. And I also like the sniper rifle that canonically is used by Agent 47. I also forgot the name of that sniper weapon. I know jack shit about fucking guns, so I don't remember them by name, but I do remember them by appearance at least. I know it was Petria, but I'm quite sure it's IDW that I meant. As far as the sniper rifle, was that WD 2000 or WA 2000? Yeah, that's the one. That's the classy lady sniper rifle. I like that one quite a bit. She's pretty fucking good. But yeah, you guys take care of yourselves. I won't take up too much of your time by talking about fucking mobile games with waifus. I'll play you off with a very good song. And you guys just take fucking care and enjoy your time of fucking Twitter. Unless you follow some very good art accounts, then it might be worth it. Go I don't know, go outside if it's not too cold outside. Spend time with your family, something. I'll be off. You guys take care. Bye bye, and enjoy the music.